Good afternoon, everybody. Anybody not ready? All set? Okay. All right, so we're here this afternoon to talk about the very sad, very unfortunate incident that happened on September 28th. At about 9:40 p.m. on September 28th, deputies were called to 364 69th Street North in Clearwater. It's unincorporated Clearwater in the area off of East Bay Drive, or in the area US 19. We responded to a residence, and in that residence there was a one-year-old child by the name of Liam Morris. He's a male with a date of birth of August 22nd, 2016. He lived there with his parents. Alan Morris is a 35-year-old male, and his mother, Madelynne Barenbrugge, who's 34 years old. What we know from the investigation is that Madelynne, the mom, does not work. She's a stay-at-home mom. Alan Morris, Liam's father, works in construction, and he left home that day at about 6 o'clock in the morning. He returned home somewhere around 7 o'clock p.m., and the family had dinner together. After dinner, Morris showered. There was only one bathroom and one shower in the residence. It's a combination of a bathtub and a shower. As Alan Morris was finishing his shower, Madelynne, his wife, entered the shower, and she had left Liam in a high chair after dinner. As they kind of transitioned in and out of the shower, Alan took Liam from the high chair and re-entered the bathroom where Madelynne was showering. He asked Madelynne if she wanted Liam in the shower with her, and she declined. He stayed in there for a couple minutes and was talking to her, and when she exited the shower, Alan put Liam in the bathtub. Madelynne went over to their bedroom, which is adjacent, and I'll kind of show you here in a second in the photograph. You can see the bedroom and the bathroom of the residence. So when Alan put Liam in the bathtub, and again, that's the bathtub there, combination shower, bathtub, is he put Liam on the floor of the tub. So put him right on the floor of the tub in nothing, despite there being a baby seat in the tub. So he could have put Liam in that baby seat, which is not your typical bath baby seat, but regardless, it's still a seat where he could have put this one-year-old, but he didn't. He put him right on the floor of the tub. There's also a drain in the tub that had a plug, and so as Morris puts his son in the tub, he turns the water on and puts the drain plug in place so that the bath water is going to fill up. When the bath water became approximately 1 1/2 inches full in the bottom of the tub, Alan Morris left the bathroom and went to the adjacent bedroom where Madelynne was after she had just exited the shower. So Alan left the tub filling with the water as Liam was seated on the floor. And remember, this is a one-year-old who could not walk, and in fact, he had just taken his first steps the night before. Liam didn't have the strength to stabilize himself in the tub, where he was left by himself as it was filling with water. Alan and Madelynne gave conflicting statements to detectives about what they were doing in the bedroom, but when initially asked, they said they were, quote, talking. However, neither one of them could tell the detectives what they were supposedly talking about. Regardless of whatever it is they were talking about or doing, it was not until the tub began to overflow with water onto the floor that Alan realized that his one-year-old son, who was incapable of self-care in that tub, was still in there, and that the bath water was overflowing. Alan returned to the bathroom. He found Liam face up in the bathtub with the water pouring from the spigot down on his face. Liam was unconscious. He was not breathing. 911 was called, and unfortunately, Liam was transported to Largo Medical Center Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Between September 29th and October 11th, yesterday, detectives tried several times to contact the parents for interviews, and they refused to meet with detectives. Yesterday afternoon, detectives served a search warrant at the residence to determine how long it took for the bathtub to fill. And as a result of the search warrant, it was determined that it would have taken between 8 and 23 minutes, depending upon how the nozzle was set for that tub to fill. So that means that Alan Morris left 1-year-old Liam, who couldn't even walk, sitting alone, unattended, and totally unable to fend for himself or care for himself in the bathtub with the water running, with the drain plug in place, for somewhere between 8 and 23 minutes. And it wasn't until he heard the water overflowing that he then went in and found his son dead in the tub because he had drowned. Whether it's 8 minutes or 23 minutes, it's too long to have a 1-year-old totally alone in a bathtub with the water running under those circumstances. So when you think about how long 8 minutes is, 8 minutes is a very long time. I bet you if somebody timed it, I probably haven't been talking for about 8 minutes here. So it's a long time. Detectives arrested Alan Morris this morning as he left the home, and he was charged with aggravated manslaughter. As a result of being in the home that night, there was marijuana found in the home. Both Morris and Barenbrugge, Liam's parents, admit that they are marijuana smokers, but claim they had not smoked marijuana on that day. When they were asked to take drug tests, both of them refused. Detectives also found methadone and Suboxone in the home. Both of those drugs are used to treat opiate addictions. Neither one of the parents had prescriptions for any of those drugs. There are several prior child protection investigations involving Morris and Barenbrugge, and those investigations include allegations of alcohol and substance misuse and domestic violence in the home. Barenbrugge has had her parental rights terminated as to another child who is now 8 years old and living elsewhere. There were verified findings of household violence in December 2016 regarding Morris and Barenbrugge when Liam lived in their home. This is a very sad case and a situation that could have been easily avoided. People need to be held responsible if they leave a 1-year-old helpless baby in a tub with the water running for between 8 and 23 minutes when their actions caused the death of the baby. And that's what occurred today with the arrest of Alan Morris. It's always a tough situation, especially arresting the parents, but when you leave a 1-year-old in a bathtub with the water running, and the water's beating down on the kid's face for somewhere between 8 and 23 minutes, and it causes the kid's death, that's beyond careless. That's criminal, and that's why he was charged. When you look at the photograph here of the bedroom, as you can see here, this is from their bedroom, and it is looking into the bathroom where the bathtub is. It's not a very big house, it's not a very big bedroom, and it's not a very big bathroom. And so where Liam was in the tub was right there. So when his father left, all he did is walk over to here to the bedroom. So there was no way he could have been in any way, shape, form, or under any circumstances paying any attention to that kid. And he could have. If he was merely just, quote, talking to his wife, he had been standing in the door and watched his son, but his son was unattended. The kid wasn't in the seat. The kid was 1. And as soon as that water started filling up, he went under. Because you can't leave a 1-year-old who can't walk, who can't fend for himself, who can't care for himself, in a tub that's filling with water and expect that kid's going to survive. And then he doesn't even know that there's a problem until the tub begins to overflow, and then it's, oh, left Liam in the tub. By that point, it's too late. Liam's dead. So, a very sad situation. So, anybody have any questions?
How about the mom charges?
So, no charges on the mom for a whole host of reasons. And what she initially said is that she was the one who normally gave Liam a bath. And what she assumed was when Alan left Liam in the bathtub, she assumed, number one, and she had no reason to believe otherwise, that he was in the seat. Now, that's not an ideal seat, but it's still a seat that he probably would have been fine in. And she also said that when she gave him a bath, that she never puts the plug in the drain. So what she thought with the water running is that, okay, he's in the bathtub, he's in the seat, the drain plug's not in, so it's probably okay. And she was in the bedroom doing whatever it is she was doing, but there was no indication and no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing on her part, and no indication that she had any knowledge that he was in danger or in jeopardy from what she knew the history was and with what she believed was occurring when she was in the bedroom. So I don't think the mom has certainly any legal culpability or responsibility here.
When he was with investigators and they were questioning him, was he remorseful at all? What was his demeanor? Because you said he wasn't cooperating.
Yeah, but he wasn't, in that sense, he wasn't antagonistic, or he was extremely remorseful, extremely upset. And probably, the reaction that you would expect initially. But in recent days, he was also not returning phone calls, refusing to talk. If he did call back, he was calling at odd hours. It was evident that he was trying to evade us. It is very clear that he was aware that he faced criminal charges, because when we served the search warrant yesterday, somebody had done some legal research, and there was copies of the aggravated manslaughter and child abuse jury instructions sitting in the home on the nightstand. So he knew what he was facing, and was obviously concerned enough about it that he or somebody had done some research, and that was found in the house when we served the search warrant yesterday. So he knew what was up. If you deal with the facts that you have, these are the facts that we have. If there had been some effort on his part, if he had put the kid in the bath seat, if he hadn't put the drain plug in, if some other set of facts or circumstances, there had been some effort on his part. Look at how close he was and what he could have been doing to watch the kid. There's no way. I mean, the facts are very solidified in that he put a helpless 1-year-old on the floor of a tub, turned the water on, put the drain plug in, and left for a minimum of 8 minutes. He made no effort to care for that helpless child. And I feel very strongly that our obligation is to the kid. Our obligation is to that baby. Our obligation is to make sure that somebody speaks out and speaks loudly and says, life was lost and somebody needs to be responsible for it, when that helpless kid had no chance. And even if it's his father, so be it. It's his father. But his father needs to be responsible.
This is reminiscent of the hot car case from a little while ago with the Hillsborough firefighter,
It is.
and then the charges ended up getting dropped by the prosecutor. What makes you feel a bit more, are you more confident with this one, or what makes,
I was confident with that one. I'm still confident with that one. I make my decisions and the prosecutor makes his decisions. I really don't care. He gets to make his decisions and I make mine. And in this case, the probable cause is there. In fact, there's a case on point from 2009 from the Second District Court of Appeal with very similar facts and circumstances. It was tried in Hillsborough County, and the Second District Court of Appeal said that leaving a kid in a bathtub with the water running meets these charges. So, I'm making the decision on this based upon the facts and based upon the circumstances, and feel extremely strongly about it. I feel very strongly about it, that our obligation is to the kid, our obligation is to that dead baby, and to make sure that somebody is the voice for that child, and make sure that somebody's held accountable under these circumstances for that baby's death. I felt the same thing in the Whitaker case, and it is what it is. The state attorney has certain criteria that he has to apply, and if he feels like that it's not enough to take it to a jury, then he gets to make that decision. But that's the way our system works. It's a great system. But, I don't make my decisions based upon what I think he's going to do or not do, and he gets to make those calls.
Was there evidence they were moving out when you guys served the search warrant?
No. We had a lot of stuff in the house. We had some indication yesterday when we were trying to, and we did limitedly communicate with them yesterday. It looked like that they were over in Hillsborough. There's family over in Hillsborough, and it looked like that they were staying over there, and that they had come back at some point during the night, late last night. But there was no indication that they were trying to move out of there.
There was a DCF report that said they found some syringes with an unknown substance. Did you guys find anything other than marijuana or find any syringes?
So there were syringes in there, and like I said, the only thing that we've been able to determine that were in there and were the Suboxone, the methadone, and the marijuana. But there also were some syringes in there, yes.
You don't know what was?
No.
Were they?
I don't know.
It looked like that seat might float. If the baby had been put in there, it looks like it may have floaties on the head part.
Yeah, it could have been. If he had been put in there and that seat would have taken him off the floor, probably of the floor of the tub, would have taken him off there probably somewhere around 3 inches, 4 inches. And if the drain plug had not been in and he was in that seat, now he's not secure in that seat. Now, normally when you think about these tub seats, when it was first described to me, the first thing that I envisioned is what I know these tub seats to be, which is it's got posts and it's kind of got a circular ring and you put the kid in it and those things. So it's not a typical tub seat, but still, nonetheless, is that was available to him. And if he had put the kid in there at one, with the headrest and it's kind of tilted back, and depending upon where the water was, and it's 3 or 4 inches off the ground, we wouldn't be having this discussion. And he probably would have been fine. But he had available to him that. He didn't have to put the plug in, and he certainly didn't have to turn the water on and leave the kid. And again, depending upon the settings, it could have been as much as 23 minutes. But at the minimum, it's 8 minutes. It doesn't matter whether it's 8, 10, 12, 23, or whatever. You get in that range. That's too long, it's not acceptable, and it's criminal. All right, thanks, everybody.